Alright. We're going to try and do this and hope that the game cooperates and doesn't crash on me over and over again as we try to do this. We'll see. But to answer the title of the stream, yes, ship buying is allegedly now in game. So, let's go ahead and talk about this while we're quantum traveling our way there. Ship buying has been added in a new little shop called, Teach's Shop or some shit like that? Treaches? I don't remember. But it's in a new little shop in Levski, so they decided to go ahead and add in another ship purchasing shop besides the one that was coming in Hurston. So, unexpected. Interesting that they did it before Hurston. That kind of makes me wonder if that means Hurston is going to be delayed again, or like why did they kind of do this out of the blue? Seems weird. Not a bad thing, obviously, but it's curious. Definitely curious. I see that's still a thing. Why does this happen? I don't know. Yeah, I'm expecting Levski to be pretty crazy. Plenty of people around, I see. So like this is a huge step in the right direction for Star Citizen, right? If Star Citizen does in fact start including ship purchases in game, right? The issue I have right now, and like I know this isn't, it's the Aurora Rebel. The issue I have, though, is these prices are obviously probably not what they're going to be. So whether they're atrocious or very lenient, you know, whatever, I don't think that this is going to be representative of the actual game prices, for one. And if they are, like, outlandish and not realistic, I think we'll see a lot of people be like, oh, well, it's PTU. You can't judge it yet. But it is a step. It's a huge step that, personally, I didn't think CIG was going to take for, like, years from now, right? So if indeed purchases are going live, that's a huge thing, right? I never thought that CIG would do this anytime soon. I figured we had years until we saw this. Yep, Dark, I'm heading there. So in order to buy ships, you have to go to Levski, which, if you're not sure where Levski is, it's on Delamar. Are my controls all fucked? Oh, okay. Jesus fuck. And then the frame rate died. Oh, man. So one thing to keep in mind, right? These purchases, they're based on like the PTU purchasing, right? Like they won't be permanent to your account right now. This is still like something that's going to get wiped every time there's PTU changes, anything like that, right? So this is their very first iteration of in-game purchasing. I wonder if I'll get in trouble for this. So you'll get to keep it someday, right? Right now with their like first iterations, there's no true persistence in Star Citizen yet, right? Like even the persistence that's in right now is very fucking like building block level persistence. It's not even remotely what you would consider persistence, right? So like anytime that there's a patch that shit can get wiped. Anytime there's a milestone patch, like going from 3.3 to 3.4, shit will get wiped, and you'll basically be restarting. So, like, if you're buying ships through in-game during the alpha or whatever, you're going to lose everything every time they, put out a new patch. Yeah, performance is pretty bad right now, which I'm assuming is because everybody and their mother is at Levski trying to test the new ship purchasing. So this kind of actually, like, while we're walking to the ship purchase place, this kind of touches on what I said a while back, right? When OCS came out and everybody's frame rate went, like, way, way up, right? Mine included, right? I went from fucking sub 15 frames to, reliably 30 plus, right? One of the things I said was like, hey, don't get super excited yet because OCS isn't being tested yet. There's nothing really new to test it, outside of, like, very, very limited FPS AI. Yep, there we go. Cool, great. That's awesome. Dark Humanite. Lighting has been super fucked in the PTU for 3.3. They've been constantly dealing with lighting issues, so it's kind of all over the place. They just got lighting working. God damn it. Cool. They just got lighting working in the hangar, or the airlocks at Port Olisar. They were fucked, and like, you'd walk in there and it was pitch black. There was nothing. They just got that working again, so progress. 3.3 PTU, OCS has increased frame rate, but crashing has been super rampant. Disconnects from the server have been pretty frequent. Patch 3.3 is still very, very fucking rough. Allegedly, you can buy ships now at Levski. They added a shop in the most recent patch, actually last night's patch. As of last night, they weren't enabled, though, right? You could go there, but there was nothing to do, right? And in today's patch, they actually turned on ship purchasing in a limited form. From what I'm told, it's all small ships like the Hornet, Prospector, some Aurora variants, stuff like that. There are ships you can buy in it now, Dad's Kitchen. Yesterday there were not. As of today, I don't remember when the patch actually dropped. It was fairly recent, though. It's now in game. I can't comment on the prices. I haven't seen it yet. I have had the game crashing or disconnecting me basically every time I try to get there. All right, full fucking CTD, huh? We did it! They're definitely putting out a lot of hotfix patches towards, like, client crashes and server crashes and stuff like that with 3.3's PTU, but I haven't seen it reliably running since they opened it to all backers. God damn it. Really? But yeah, so it 3.3's just been kind of a mess, and, right now it's on PTU, so granted you can be like, hey, it's PTU, what do you expect? That's not really surprising, I suppose. Maybe there's a patch. I'm gonna let the launcher sit here for a minute. Yeah, it might have just fucking straight tanked their servers. Or the other thing is, it could be a patch that they're pushing out right now. So we'll just, we're gonna give the launcher a minute. Yeah, it's, I mean, that's the most people I've seen in one place in a long, long fucking time. Also, so Levski is definitely putting the servers through the paces. Caracalla, did I say that right? Sorry, my chat bar is really really small right now. Um, it's black screen because the game's like crashing right now. I'm trying to give it a minute. Hey, Mr. Bay, how's it going, my man? Basically, everybody and their mother is trying to log in right now because they added what do you call it? Ship purchasing in game now. Jan, yes, I am considered concierge. Yeah, I think like everything just died for CIG right now. I'm not sure, Mr. Bay. I haven't been able to test it, and the guys, the renegade dudes, were doing some other stuff, so I didn't want to like interrupt them last night when they were playing. I still don't see Star Citizen launching for a very long time. Um, it will be a huge thing for performance and like playability if server side OCS comes on and it further improves frame rate. If network bind calling and server meshing increases performance, that would be great too. But like gameplay mechanics wise, we're still fucking a long, long, long ways out. Filling out the universe wise, they're a very long way out, right? So they have a lot to do still. So even with OCS being the success that it was for most people, there's still some people who aren't seeing performance gains from OCS. I don't know if that's hardware on their end or if it's just, what the deal is, right? Like obviously, I can't comment on that. For me, it's gone up quite a bit in terms of performance, right? Like I went from like 15 to 20 FPS doing like trivial shit to usually 60 plus. And I do need to upgrade the CPU and my GPU. They're both kind of like lacking, right? Like I've got a GTX 980 4 gig card. That's getting kind of dated and could be upgraded. And I have an older gen i7 for a CPU, so both of those are kind of like getting kind of old. Um, but yeah, even with those performance upgrades and everything getting better, CIG still has a long way to go in terms of like building out Star Citizen. So I would still say, hey, we have a good couple of years yet. You could very well see Squadron 42 in the next year. That would be reasonable, but saying Star Citizen in the next couple of years, in my opinion, is still pipe dream. I would be very surprised to see Star Citizen moving out of alpha into beta in the next like 2 to 3 years. And if it does, it's because CIG decides to downsize and start going for minimum viable product. One sec, guys. I'll be right back while we wait for this thing to fucking hopefully come back from the dead. CIG, I'm sure they're hot on this. All right, still no patch on the launcher. Let me close all the way out just to make sure. I don't want to incorrectly report. Hate to do that. Actually, while we're waiting, let's see if I can make chat a little bit bigger. Ships. So from what I was told, the ships that are available are the Prospector, 3 different types of Auroras, the Buccaneer, Hornet, Cyclone, Dragonfly, and Cutlass Black are the ships you can currently buy with in-game UEC in the 3.3 PTU. Unfortunately, the PTU shit the bed because everybody and their mother is trying to access it. Star Citizen is absolutely not coming by 2021. There's no way. And that's like even trying to be generous. Yep. Okay, their servers are still dead. All right. While CIG tries to unfuck their servers, questions, anything like that regarding 3.3, anything like that, I'll do my best to try to read chat and answer them while we're waiting, because this might be a little bit. Meowcenary, I do not own any capital ships anymore. My suspicion, Blippity, is that everybody and their mother spawning a hammerhead to check it out was probably fucking the server. And I think that's why they changed it. Because for anybody who's not aware, usually PTU, you're able to access any ship. 3.3 PTU started when it was closed, right, to just Concierge and Wave 1. There weren't really any issues. When they opened it up to all backers, it was hammerheads being spawned. And I think it was shitting the servers out. So, CIG made it so that the PTU, you can only pull ships that you own. Eagle. I still have an account, but I'm not putting any money into CIG's products until many things change. If I purchase anything, it's going to be through the gray market where CIG doesn't get fresh cash from me. I don't think... Like, I'm not encouraging people to refund or do anything like that, but... I'm not giving CIG more money. I don't want to reward them when I feel like CIG as a company is kind of heading in a direction that I personally don't approve of. Yeah, RM, I think like PR wise, it's a huge win for CIG, right? If they do decide to sacrifice the possible sales that they could have gotten, but I also think it's an issue of they've kind of plateaued, right? The people who are going to buy into Star Citizen and like the JPEG fucking mini game have already bought in, right? Like those people have already bought their starter pack. They've already bought their freelancer or their constellation or whatever, right? They've already spent the money. So at this point, you have a lot of people outside of the community looking in at Star Citizen saying, this shit is pay to win as fuck. I would never fucking buy this, right? And by adding in-game purchases with the ship shops like this, it's kind of opening the door to sucking in more people who otherwise are going to just stay on the outside of the project looking in like, dude, fuck all that. These people are fucking nuts. I'm not fucking paying for a JPEG. So, in my opinion, by doing that, they do have a chance to attract more customers who otherwise would have zero interest in Star Citizen. Yeah, I backed it a long time ago, right? I backed Star Citizen in 2013. So if that's what you mean as am I a backer, then yes. I mean, if you think I'm salty from the Idris M incident, then you're probably one of Montoya's like brain dead fucking sheep. So I don't know what to tell you. Like, there's no amount of trying to reasoning to you that's gonna get through to you. I literally, like, from the moment that thing happened, said I'm not gonna be able to keep it. I understand, and that was while people were saying this guy needs to have his account banned. He's fucking cheating. So, like, from the onset, I knew I wasn't gonna keep it. So why would I be salty about it? Um, Martin, I can't really touch that one because it would be like complete speculation, right? Nobody knows whether CIG has more money than Chris knows how to spend or if they're going to go broke tomorrow, right? Unfortunately, in 2016, when a deadline was coming up where CIG either had to release Star Citizen and Squadron 42 or publish the financial reports that showed where the money was going, how it was being spent, and all that. CIG instead decided to change their terms of service so that they wouldn't have to show backers any of that information. So it's honestly like speculation on both sides of that topic, right? We'll never know. All right. Well, let's see if the servers are up again. Energy. I'm reading from both chats. I'm just trying to like check on the launcher in between reading them. Yeah, it's still down. So if you're just joining and you're seeing the black screen and you're wondering what's going on, basically CIG's PTU servers fucking exploded. So it's not that like I'm just sitting on this and like not trying to buy the in-game chips. It's that the PTU is literally like dead right now. I could see that Blippity, for sure. Uh, I don't think that they are necessarily dead in terms of like money wise, right? I think it's completely fair that like they're just like, hey, why would we pass on money we could have, right? That's more money for either salaries, expanding, whatever, right? Like it's more money. Who says no to more money, right? So yeah, I think that's absolutely a plausible theory, right? Like they do have more than enough money, but they're also saying, hey, if people are gonna hand us money, then fucking why would we not take it out of their hands? Yeah, I am familiar with the games. Is that how I say his name? I always forget. Yeah, I am familiar with him. Uh, I haven't had a chance to really talk with him a whole lot. He's popped into chat a couple times, but it's always been like, I try not to focus too much on like one thing, and I try to like answer as many people as possible. So I haven't really had a chance to talk to him like one on one. And I've had a lot of people asking me about collaborating, right? Like I've had the Astropub ask me if I would come on. Um, a couple other like smaller content creators asking me if I would collaborate and stuff like that. And it's just really hard for me with my real life schedule and like the kids to do that, right? So that's the biggest thing, right? Because it's hard for me to commit to like a date and be like, yes, for sure, I'll be able to do this on that date. Um, so I'm trying to see if I can make Astropub on the 3rd of November. That's what I'm shooting for. Hopefully, we'll be able to do that. Let's see here. I agree, Night Train. I think it's kind of like a double edged sword, right? As long as people are giving Chris money, he's going to keep dreaming of like making his video game Hollywood debut more and more grand, right? And it's never going to stop until he says, "Oh shit, okay, well, I'm kind of running low on funds. I guess I need to like wrap this up." Yeah, I think that like obviously there's a subset of backers who are going to keep giving large sums of money regardless, right? Like it doesn't matter what CIG does, it doesn't matter what Chris does, what kind of progress they make or don't make. They're going to keep buying into it because like to these people, if they don't keep spending money, then the dream dies. Um, so I think that's a big part of it. Um, but yeah, like I honestly feel like the ship purchases is a PR thing because it's gonna lure in people who were staying away from Star Citizen because of the whole like the paywall behind certain things, right? Like how many people wanted to do mining but said, "Oh, a prospector is $150? Fuck that! I'm not gonna pay $150 just to be able to fucking mine. That's stupid." But now you can go, earn it in game. I mean, granted, you're gonna have to do some really tedious shit to get up to like what 1.5 million, something like that, in order to buy a prospector. Um, Maybe they have rentals that are going to be like at a cheaper rate. I don't know. I haven't been able to see it because the servers died, so I can't really say. Um, but yeah, like I think by enabling ship purchases in game, they're going to lure in a lot of people who otherwise were either on the fence or straight up had no interest until like that paywall was down. But yeah, I kind of like circled around on myself there, but yeah, Blippity. I think, god damn, still down. I think the genie is out of the bottle, right? Like, why stop taking people's money if they want to give it to you? It's a huge step in the right direction. It's one that I didn't think CIG was going to take anytime soon. Um, you could either read it as they're trying for some really solid PR right before they drop 3.4 with their new flight model and Hurston and all this other stuff that's coming with 3.4. You could also look at it as possibly, they are seeing like a funding plateau, right? I mean, like, because tinfoil hat is going on, right? I don't believe the RSI funding tracker. Um, Without having like the ability to authenticate it, I don't I don't know if I like fully can buy that, right? Like does that thing account for refunds? Does it also account for credit purchases instead of just like war bond new money? There's just so many questions there, and there's no way for me to ever know exactly how that is being run. So my own suspicion is that funding has kind of like hit its peak, right? And by enabling people to, just buy a starter pack and then earn these bigger ships in game, a lot of people that was a huge turnoff, and they just had no interest in Star Citizen because of that. So I almost feel like they could be baiting more people in with that, um, and it might earn them more money because of it, right? The real world value of the highest level ship that you can purchase in game right now is I think 3,500, 3,000. I think it's 3,000 new money still, right? The Javelin. Eagle. A lot of people do not stop at just buying a pack. Um, there are, I mean, there's a whole fucking chat lobby dedicated to it, right? Like where they can all kind of congregate and like salute each other for spending thousands. Um, and like there's this whole like celebratory mindset too, where like each new concept sale that comes out, they're all like, "Good job, man! We've all spent $1,500 on a Kraken." Oh yes, I too have spent that, right? Like, and that's a big part of why a lot of people look in at Star Citizen as like a weird kind of like cult. Um, I don't know. Absolutely though, right? Like if you just bought a starter pack at $45, right? You're a backer. You're helped contribute. And I mean, 2 years ago, I think it was 2016. Chris was like, "Hey, we have enough money, right? So you should feel totally fine just buying a starter pack. There's no reason to buy anything else like that." And honestly, like, if you want to buy more than a starter pack, use the gray market to go from there. Somebody asked me if I would do a gray market tutorial video. I'm going to try to have that up by the weekend because the anniversary sale should be coming next month in November. And I want to make sure as many people as possible know how to use the gray market before that, because you're only screwing yourself if you don't use the gray market. Yeah, Mosquito, absolutely. And I think DeGames is like on point with that, right? Because absolutely, obviously the in-game economy is going to have a huge effect on all sorts, basically every aspect of the game. There's nothing that the economy won't touch. So I salute him for trying to like focus on that and really like drive that home. The legal backlash of what? Showing people how to use the gray market. It's not that. It's not something that's like banned, right? It's banned on their forums. You're not allowed to talk about buying and selling on RSI's like proper site, but it's not something that they're like against, right? Like you won't get an account ban for buying a CCU off of the gray market. So until the day when CIG says, "Hey, we're no longer allowing this," and like it's against our terms of service or whatever. Like that's why I get like really pissed when CIG comes out with these new like marketing tactics, right? And you see a lot of the fanboys be like, "Oh, well, this is because of the gray market. CIG's just trying to do right. Look out at for themselves, whatever." Like they could literally make the gray market illegal, or in all intents and purposes illegal, by just updating their terms of service, and boom, it's done, right? So like, don't say that like the $5 CCU change was to stop the gray market, or that the fucking Kraken wave invites was to stop the gray market. All they have to do is change their terms of service to say you're not allowed to buy from other people, right? Like you can't fucking go on the gray market and buy these upgrades or standalone ships or any of that shit, and boom, the gray market is officially a like use at your own risk, you could lose everything. And who's gonna fucking do that? Who's gonna risk their entire account over buying a CCU on the gray market? So yeah. No, if you buy on the gray market, essentially you're buying from somebody who's already bought a CCU or a ship or whatever, a game package, and they gift it to your account. If you're buying somebody else's account, that's the black market, and that is absolutely something you should not be doing, right? Like, because you can get in trouble, I believe, with CIG for doing that. But if you're buying, like, say I want a Banu Merchantman for, what was it, $250 was the initial price that you could buy the Banu Merchantman, versus the like what, $450 or something like that it goes for now from CIG directly. There are people out there on the gray market who still have the Banu Merchantman for $250. I give them $250 through PayPal, and then they gift the Banu Merchantman to my game account, and then I have a Banu Merchantman, and I only spent $250 on it instead of $400 or $450 that CIG is now charging, because it gets harder to print JPEGs. So that is what the gray market is. I'm going to have a whole video that goes over everything on the gray market, hopefully by the end of the week, because I've had a lot of people asking me like how to do it, how to use it safely, what it is. And there's a lot of like little nitty gritty shit with the gray market that like, it can be intimidating if you're not familiar with it, right? It's almost like one of those things where you just got to kind of jump in and react and like learn it as you go. But I'll try to do a video that kind of describes it a little more in detail, and hopefully like a tutorial that'll help you get through it. No, absolutely not. Yeah, if you're buying or selling a whole account, that's the black market, and that is something that you can get in trouble with CIG for doing. So don't do that. However, the gray market is essentially you buy an item, let's call it, from somebody else who had already bought it from CIG, and they gift it to your account. All right, we're going to test the servers again here. That's the concern, Hans. At least for me, right? That's my concern, is that they're going to artificially make the in-game purchasable ships more difficult than they're worth, right? As a kind of like, it's like a carrot on a stick, right? You bait it in front of the backer, like, oh, hey, if you keep playing and you keep grinding, you can eventually get that carrot. But like, it's a carrot on a stick. It's always out in front of you. If they do it that way, I'm hoping that they don't. But it's possible, right? That like they fucking hold that carrot out in front of you and keep saying, oh man, keep going for that prospector. Oh man, you got killed while doing these cargo runs. You lost a lot of money. Oh, that's unfortunate. Well, keep working towards your prospector. Or we have another carrot over here that's not on the stick. Would you like to buy it for $150? Right? That's my suspicion. Or my concern, not suspicion. That's my concern with CIG's real money transaction stuff. Or in-game purchases, rather. And bro, that we don't really know. I believe they're supposed to, but unfortunately, that's another one of those gameplay systems that is so far out that it's basically just speculation, because Chris changes his mind like the weather outside changes. So it's so hard to fucking make a call on that stuff. I mean, absolutely genocide, right? Like, I want the game to fucking come out, and I'm not here covering Star Citizen trying to fucking sink it or anything like that. And furthermore, anybody who thinks that like my mega channel is going to fucking sink Star Citizen, like they need to fucking go talk to their therapist, because that's just insane to think of, right? Like, I'm not going to single-handedly undermine Star Citizen. Um, that's just crazy talk. So even if that was what I was trying to do, like it's never gonna happen. The whole point of my channel is just to try to get people to like look at Star Citizen and CIG critically and like objectively, right? Like, they're not your friends. They're a company and they're trying to get your money. So try to like overanalyze everything, and like don't even take things that I say as fact either, right? Like, fact check everything. Fact check CIG. Fact check Board Gamer. Fact check Failure to Report. You should be doing that automatically on your own. And the amount of people who don't do that, that's what concerns me with, the project and like the community. Yeah, for sure. Like, I don't, like, from my experience, right? Most of the people who are considered refundians, um, they just kind of like got tired of the bullshit and they decided to cash out, right? Like, they don't think, hey, I want the game to die and never come back. A lot of them would love to be proved wrong and to see the game fucking do well. Um, so it's absolutely, there. I mean, granted, there are zealots on both sides, right? There are people out there who want Star Citizen to fail just because, whatever. I don't want Star Citizen to fail. I just am very, very, very concerned with saying I think this game will be what it's being sold as. Um, I think Star Citizen will eventually be a game, but I don't think it's going to be what we're being promised and sold and marketed. That's my concern. All right, let's F4 this bad boy and try again. I mean, I took a year. It was pretty close to a year. It was like 8 months, whatever. I took 8 months off of the game. Like, didn't read anything about it. The only news I got from Star Citizen was like what people PM me on Discord. Um, I would start playing like another game and streaming it, and people would be in chat talking to me about Star Citizen. But outside of that, like, I didn't follow anything. I didn't watch ATVs. I didn't do anything. And outside of mining being added, I didn't miss much in 8 months. So I agree with that. Karakla, Karakla. I agree. I think that there's going to be a day of reckoning for Star Citizen when certain backers realize that they aren't getting things that they were promised. I think that's absolutely going to be a thing. Turn on some sick launcher music while we sit here. Yeah, for sure. That's unavoidable, right? Chris has made so many wide-reaching promises to so many different types of people and gamers that like eventually that has to be reconciled, and there are going to be some very, very angry people. I mean, it's not so like that's the thing, Callahan. Like a lot of people seem to think that because I'm against CIG or I'm against like issues that are going on in Star Citizen that I'm not patient. Like I don't have a problem waiting. Like years ago, I was saying this game isn't gonna fucking leave alpha until like at least 2022. I mean, granted now, like having seen how certain things have played out, like if I could go back in time, I would push that out to more like 2024 or beyond. But this has nothing about like patience, right? Like I fucking my job used to be laying in a fucking field for fucking more than 24 hours doing fucking nothing. I can fucking be patient all day long, no problem. I can be patient for years. Like I've waited on games for fucking years and years before. It's not a patience thing. My issues are with like how the company is doing things, how they're marketing things, priorities in development, lack of core gameplay mechanics, while they focus on like fluffing shit and reworking the Hornet for like the ninth time. That kind of shit. It doesn't have anything to do with me being like, I want Star Citizen right now. Like, that's not my problem with Star Citizen at all. Uh, Warthane, I think. Did I say that right? Warthane. Um, even without a real life friend working in CIG, I think that's like a reasonable estimation, right? Like they just have so many core gameplay mechanics to fucking actually like start working on because so many of them are still just ideas on paper. They have so much content to work on, like in terms of like planets, AI, how the AI interacts with Star Citizen and like does its own thing. Like they've been selling this ultra like never before immersive AI experience, right? That's gonna like flesh out their entire fucking galaxy, and like they're just now like putting on some like shoot at these guys dummy AI and security port Korea, right? So like they have a fucking long ways to go. Like the idea that we're not going to have like a decent game to play until 2024 is, I would say, almost optimistic. Um, oh man, I don't think that Amazon will have to bail out CIG. I think they probably are doing pretty well financially. I know that goes against like a lot of the rhetoric that you'll hear from like people who usually have opinions similar to mine. Um, I just like I feel like more and more people, as one person like cashes out and walks away from Star Citizen, I feel like there is unfortunately, another person ready to stand up and spend that money. So yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe they are hurting for money. Who knows? I think the Crytek lawsuit will be an interesting thing to watch play out because, like, regardless of how you feel about Crytek, right? CIG absolutely breached parts of that contract. How much it's going to cost CIG is like fucking anybody's guess, right? Like, who knows? It might cost them not a lot. It might cost them quite a bit. Who knows? But they absolutely breached parts of that contract. That's why, like, I was laughing at like these YouTube lawyers who are like, "Oh, this is a nothing burger. This is gonna get dismissed. There's no way. There's no way that this lawsuit goes to court." And I'm like, how are you a fucking lawyer? Like, I'm not even, like, I wouldn't even call myself a fucking paralegal or anything, right? I have, like, no legal experience. And even I can see that, like, they've blatantly, like, breached parts of this contract. And, like, either it's these guys are being biased for the sake of, like, views, or they're not familiar with, like, Star Citizen and, like, its history. And maybe they don't know that CIG has breached parts of that. I don't know. It was weird. That whole shit is just bizarre. So the Crytek lawsuit. So I see a lot of people talk about how, like, Star Citizen should have had its own engine, right? Well, fucking way back circa 2011, right? Chris wanted to pitch Star Citizen, but nobody wanted to fucking touch him, right? Like, he was notorious for going over budget and fucking just never being able to fucking rein himself in after Freelancer, and Microsoft had to step in and basically, like, take the project away from Chris. He went over to Hollywood, and the same fucking behaviors, right? Over budget, doesn't know how to fucking, like, rein himself in and fucking push a product, right? Like, that's Chris Roberts in a nutshell, right? Like, always over budget, always, like, unwilling to compromise and unwilling to settle on anything, right? So, like, he had this reputation, and no publisher wanted to fucking give him funds. Nobody wanted to fucking, like, advance him on an engine, right? Because he would need funds in order to fucking license an engine. Along comes Crytek, and Crytek is, unfortunately, basically the fucking engine designer's version of Chris Roberts, right? Like, they're hurting for money. They're fucking struggling to pay their fucking employees. They need a Hail Mary. Chris Roberts needs a Hail Mary. And lo and behold, you get this union made in fucking desperation, right? Chris Roberts is able to get a super fucking good deal on Crytek, licensing CryEngine for Star Citizen. And in return, Chris Roberts is supposed to work on this fucking amazing new game and, one, fucking advertise CryEngine whenever fucking possible, because, you know, Crytek is like, dude, we need people to fucking come license our shit. We're fucking struggling. And also, any, like, new code and improvements they make to the engine, they're supposed to tell Crytek so they can be like, oh, yeah, our engine does suck dick. Let us go ahead and fix this. So, as it turned out, shit didn't go down that way, right? Like, very early on in the project, Chris Roberts stopped calling shit CryEngine. He started calling it Star Engine instead. He's like, oh, well, yeah, you know, we started with Crytek or CryEngine, but we've made so many changes, and this thing isn't CryEngine anymore. Crytek obviously didn't like that because they were relying on Star Citizen, and especially when Star Citizen, like, blew up, right? Like, made more fucking money, made more fucking media attention than Crytek could have ever fucking dreamed was going to happen with this little Kickstarter game, right? They probably thought, hey, dude, this was our Hail Mary. We're good now. All he's got to do is make a fucking game. And it didn't go out that way at all. Chris, like, pushed Star Citizen and his company further and further away from Crytek. Crytek just kind of, like, basically had their floor fall out from underneath them. So unfortunately, it kind of came around to where, like, Crytek was like, dude, you fucked us. And Chris was like, suck dick, you're not going to be a company in a couple years anyways, I don't care. Yeah, and that's another good point, right? Like, for people who aren't aware, like, Crytek was betting on this game so much that, like, that Kickstarter demo was made by Crytek, right? The one that, like, we all saw and we were like, oh shit, man, this guy's making a pretty fucking crazy fucking game right now. I'm going to buy into this. Nope, he wasn't making a game yet. That was Crytek making a demo for him to sell the game. So, like, if that doesn't, like, highlight just how desperate Chris was to, like, get anybody, and Crytek was equally desperate, right? Like, that's one point that, like, I'm totally willing to point out. And I feel like a lot of people who are, like, anti-Star Citizen or whatever don't want to fucking acknowledge. Crytek was for sure desperate, right? They needed a Hail Mary, but Chris also needed a Hail Mary because nobody wanted to fucking touch Chris Roberts. He is a fucking super hardcore perfectionist. He is not willing to compromise on fucking anything in terms of, like, his vision. Like, it doesn't matter if somebody's more qualified. It doesn't matter if somebody's idea is better. He will not fucking compromise. He, as a result of not compromising, is always fucking over budget. It does not matter how much money you give Chris Roberts. He's going to fucking go over budget eventually. You know, stuff like that, right? So it's absolutely, both of them were in, you know, hot water and needed somebody to rescue them. And they were supposed to like lean on each other and get through it together. And unfortunately, Chris was like, "Fuck you, man! Everybody just gave me millions. Get fucked, Crytek." Hey, Trevin, how's it going? All right, I'm gonna try and catch up on chat while I Alt F4 this shit. All right, let's see here. Yeah, so ship buying, if you're wondering what's going on, right? Ship buying has been added to Levski. However, right after they added it, the servers basically just died, right? So that's why it's a black screen for the most part, right? Like I keep trying to launch it, but unfortunately the CIG PTU servers are fucking dead. So like, I would love to talk about ship buying. Even if I had gotten to it though, I would still feel very hesitant to talk about ship buying because it is going to be, it's going to be one of those things where it's like early days, right? Chris is going to be like, oh, well, these prices aren't fixed. All of this is subject to change, all this other stuff, right? So, it's going to be really hard to like comment on it. I'm glad that they're doing it though. I think that's huge. And I definitely never thought that they were going to do this anytime soon, right? Like maybe eventually, but not for like at least a year or two. Oh, let's go ahead and move chat back over again. Waiting for that FPS to die as everybody gets back in. Oh shit.
Your ship has been delivered to the following landing pad.
No? Maybe? Nope, backed up too soon. Nope, I didn't. B04. Alright. Hey, how's it going, Gregory? Did I read that wrong? I thought that said B04. That's not B04. Alright. Womp womp. Alright, so ship buying is at Levski. If you're like playing right now and you're trying to find it yourself, head for Levski. They added a new little shop called Teaches or Treaches Ship Buying or some shit like that. I don't remember the name. But it's at Levski on Delamar.
Your ship has been delivered to the following landing pad.
Alright, I'm gonna not walk away. FPS is better, right? So like, I'm getting like 50 frames here, right? And like sometimes it peaks up past like 60, 70 or whatever. But I would say like my average is probably like 40 to 50 range. Before 3.3 and OCS, my performance was more like, I don't know, I'd be getting 20. And like if I were to get into like combat or like actually have to do anything, it would be worse than that even. So like, whoa, my bad. So yeah, client side OCS has helped. It's not like perfect yet for sure, but it is definitely helped.
Hello and welcome aboard your Drake interplanetary craft. Your systems are online.
One thing they have changed, which like
Landing gear.
super fucking happy for, is the star map is now like a lot less aids. Like you can actually see it. And also, if you haven't been paying attention since 3.3 at all, they also did like route planning now. So like if I wanted to jump somewhere that was obstructed, it would like, let's say I was over at like CRU L2, right? And I wanted to jump to Delamar. I wouldn't be able to jump like right through Crusader, right? So it would plot me a route that would jump around it, right? So it would plot me to like one of the comm stations and then to Delamar. So it's gotten a lot better, the star map at least.
Quantum drive is now on.
Yeah, I agree, Tigray, for sure. Like, the client side OCS is a huge step in the right direction, but I don't think that, like, I don't know. I don't want to start celebrating it, right? Like, a lot of people are like, oh my god, client side OCS is amazing right now. Like, this is the first time that I really believe Star Citizen's for sure happening. And it's like, dude, like, the performance is good, right? But like they haven't really added anything to test it yet, right? Like we're still basically playing 3.2 with OCS and like some little shit added in. Like let's wait. Let's just calm down and wait until Hurston is here, and then we can like be like, holy shit, it's amazing. But like, fuck, dude, just chill. Just chill, guys. Settle down. Wait for 3.3.5 or 3.4. Then we can all freak out and be like, holy shit. And like, I don't feel like that's unreasonable, but like a lot of people seem to.
Quantum drive is now.
And I fucking hate that this happens every time. Oh, yeah, I don't have a loading screen, but instead I get this kind of shit every time I jump to fucking Quantum. Let's see where you at.
Quantum drive is now on. Hydrogen fuel is at 100%.
Yeah, I agree that the space dust shit definitely needs to fucking get toned down. It, like, I don't know why people,
Is now.
game developers, think that that's like an amazing feature to add. I think it's kind of just stupid and annoying. It takes away from like how pretty space can be. I was a fucking saint, Genocide. I was a fucking saint. I had motherfuckers asking, begging to be fucking put under me. Because, you know, I do shit like, don't ask dudes to do shit I wouldn't do. I would still take fucking details that my fucking Joes would take just to fucking say, hey, you're not sucking alone. And I would fucking absolutely fight with my chain of command on my Joe's behalf. Like a good fucking NCO should do.
Front impact warning.
Oh, we're not slowing down.
Deck impact warning.
Burp, 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 burp. That was unexpected.
Landing gear down. Deck impact warning. Port impact warning. Landing complete. Weapons offline.
Yeah, the frame rate on Levski has been kind of like, even with 3.3, right? The frame rate here has been not amazing. And with everybody and their fucking mother flying for Levski and like trying to do the ship purchase shit, Levski has not been doing so great.
The pizza's out there still.
I know. And we're back to pre-OCS frame rate. My bad. Did I miss something? Yeah, also, so like for people who are more recently joining, and might have missed this the last time somebody pointed out the lighting and everything, lighting has been super fucked in 3.3. It's been like a constant struggle of like CIG having to patch shit because the lighting gets just borked as fuck. So yeah, shadows and lighting are really fucked right now. Thank you. Yes, Renfield. This is like exactly what I was saying, right? Like, let's hold off on celebrating OCS until we have Hurston, right? Because this is absolutely what it might be like when Hurston gets added. I see a person. And we're back to single digit frames. Yeah, for sure, Mike. I mean, it wasn't this bad before, but it's definitely gotten much worse. Hey, we didn't die. Nice. Come on, game. I just want to make it to the store page. Or shop, or whatever. I don't know. What's causing the low frames? Honestly, who knows? So, like, it could... I mean, like, Levski's been a high frame rate sync, like, basically forever anyways. But they've also been, like, changing a lot of things around here at Levski. So it could be just, like, crap not optimized, OCS not, like, loading it right, anything like that. It could also be that literally everybody on the server is probably coming here right now. There's a lot of, like, random shit like that. Oh, oh, oh. We're gonna make it, guys. As long as it doesn't crash. I mean, it wouldn't kill Star Citizen to like tone down on the level of detail, right? Like how much do I care about how fucking crazy the level of detail is as I've been running to this place the entire time for like the last, what, 7 minutes it took me? Right? Like, shit like that could absolutely be improved. Oh god, that guy's gonna fucking get murdered by the door or some shit. Yeah, absolutely no point. And like, that's the other thing too, right? Like I see a lot of people who are like, oh, it's your PC, it's your PC. It's not, right? Like there are people with fucking literally like $5,000 to $10,000 PCs and they still run Star Citizen like dog shit, right? My PC is not fucking like top of the line by any means. I need to upgrade some shit. But yeah, like it's by no means like trash can potato. All right, we made it. We made it to the ship purchase bazaar. So the prospector. Live out your mining fantasies for 1.6 million UEC. Subject to change. Could be wiped at any minute. What is this? The base Hornet? The base Hornet at 1.5, or excuse me, 1.4. What else have we got in here? Is that the Buck? The ever-reliable Drake Interplanetary Buccaneer at 1.1. Yeah, you can actually buy them. I don't know how that's going to work, right? Oh, yay. They gave me money. I don't know if you're going to get rentals as well as buying, right? Like, hopefully that would be a case. That way, like, you didn't have to shell out 1.4 million all at once, right? Because if you're stuck with, like, let's say an Aurora MR and you have to fucking, like, do cargo runs up to 1.4 million or whatever, that would kind of suck. Let's see. Cutlass Black is going for 1.5. Yeah, absolutely, right? So, like, I just want to point that out, right? My CPU is one of the older generation i7s, right? That's one of the things that I would like to upgrade next month, especially since it's my birthday, so like I can't get shamed by the girlfriend if I go ahead and start upgrading the computer next month. So that's like my plan, right? Is CPU. We're gonna be upgrading next month, and then also hopefully the graphics card. I'm trying to land between a 2080 or just getting one of the better 1080s. But either way, right? I'm totally fine saying like, hey, my performance could be better. But, like, if I get that, right, if I go ahead and, like, upgrade to either, like, a high-end fucking AMD CPU or a new-gen i7 or whatever, like, I'm looking at, like, fucking top 10% computers, right, if I go ahead and do that, right? Like, my CPU and my GPU are, like, probably my fucking least strong parts, right? Like, so, like, it's not really, like, Star Citizen will probably definitely run better for me, right? But then my computer does not at all represent, like, what a realistic, like, normal gaming rig is for people. And then, like, I feel like that's really, really skewing it, right? Like, right now, even, my computer's still, like, way above what, like, a lot of, like, average people who want to back Star Citizen have. But yeah, so like I'm fine saying that, like, yeah, there's parts on my computer that I could upgrade, I just haven't because I've never had a problem running any other game on high except for Star Citizen. Star Citizen is literally the only game that gives my computer problems, so I haven't upgraded. Yeah, for sure, Jabroni. Like, part of me wants to wait, especially when Chris was saying that, like, the AMD Threadripper is fucking, like, doing very well with Star Citizen right now, when, like, they're fucking partnered with Intel. So if, like, Chris is saying that, like, AMD's fucking CPU is doing better, like, I almost wonder if it'd be worth trying out an AMD fucking GPU. And the, what do you call it? Oh, sorry. Yeah, my bad. Aurora price is just shy of 500,000 UEC. For, which one is this? The CL. Let's see if they have the LN. No. LX is 220. And the LN is 367. Wonder if they... Yeah, they don't really have, like, space to, like, expand this much. It has been, like, forever since I have done the actual missions, but I believe, like, the average payout is pretty fucking abysmal. Yeah, like, 460 UEC, 460, 1,000. I haven't done any of the mission giver shit just because, like, I always end up crashing. I've done cargo running stuff, but, like, even that, right? Like, it's kind of a skewed thing because, like, I'm never doing it in Aurora. Like, I either have Move Speed's Cutlass or Freelancer or somebody else's ship. Like, I'm always, like, doing it with somebody else. So, yeah. Like, I can't really, like, comment on, like, the prices and, like, how miserable they're going to be to grind. But yeah. No, Sky. So, like, you can buy any of these, right? The list is the Prospector, the Hornet, the Buccaneer. You can buy the land vehicles, the base Cyclone, I believe, right? Okay, maybe. Or not. Okay, maybe not the Tumbril. It's not highlighting. Like, it's giving me the interact to, like, mess with it, but... Oh, maybe it's still display. Somebody fucking flipped it. The Dragonflies. So, yeah. Prospector. Cutlass. 3 different variants of the Aurora. Buccaneer. And the Hornet. Yes, the Buccaneer... Oh, is it for sale in, like, the website right now? No, the Buccaneer is not. The mining ship is 1.5 million. I believe, right? Oh, 1.62. So if you'd like to do some breaking big rocks into littler rocks, you've got a lot of FedExes to deliver, my friend. Tom, which question? I'm like, chat's on a different monitor, so I'm like looking back and forth. I will struggle to answer something besides whiny agreement questions. One day this will function, Sky, where like you buy it and you own it for good. Unfortunately, the issue is with it being in PTU, every time there's a milestone patch where they clear out the PTU's data, you'll lose all of these purchases and you'll have to start over again. The biggest ship right now would be the Cutlass Black, or you could maybe say the Prospector. They're both pretty close in price. And in terms of size, like they're both pretty up there. They're both medium sized. We won't see the bigger ships for purchase until Hurston gets added and we have Lorville. What would it take for me to change my mind about Star Citizen? So I've kind of like talked about this a couple times before. For me, it would take CIG to stop acting like all they care about is money, right? Like, I feel like the relationship between like CIG and the backers has gone from we're very grateful you gave us the chance at like starting this company up and starting this dream and like turning into the biggest Kickstarter game ever, all this other shit, right? To like, all right, here's how we're gonna do our sale, give us your money or fuck off. And it feels like it's just more and more anti-consumer, more and more like we're prioritizing how to make more money out of you than like, you know, the passion for the game, right? So like CIG's behavior would be like first and foremost in terms of like what it would take for me to support. Oh, I think that's gonna be a crash. CIG's behavior would be like first and foremost for me to support Star Citizen again. Secondly, I would love to see them start focusing more on like fleshing out gameplay mechanics and like actually starting to work on gameplay loops instead of like doing, you know, random fluff and stuff like that. Yeah, that's gonna be a crash. All right. Let's see. Can I get my mouse back? All right, there we go. I'm just trying to see if I missed something that you said before that. When you say this is what pissed me off, Tom, are you talking to me or was that for somebody else? And I just like misreading that. Yeah, absolutely, Ghost Rider, right? So like that was something that I tried to stress when I commented on like 3.3's PTU in the video. FPS has been better prior to this Levski shit. FPS has been better, but the crashing is back to 3.0, right? So like if anybody played during 3.0, and you remember how frequently either you crashed to desktop or the server kicked you, that is what 3.3 is running like right now. Let's see. Jeremy, the ship pricing, the Auroras are ranging from, I believe it was 260K up to 490K. The Cutlass Black was 1.4 million, I believe. The Prospector is 1.6 million. The Buccaneer and the Hornet, I think, were both right around 1 million. I don't remember what the land vehicles were. I think they were like 70K, something like that. Lewis, I'm totally speculating on why they took the ships out of the PTU, but I'm guessing it was because everybody was just spawning the Hammerhead and trying to check it out and like play around in the Hammerhead, and it was probably making the servers fucking flip out. Greg, I'm not at all critiquing it as a finished game. If you think that means that you can't criticize the company or the direction that they're going, then I don't know. I don't really have anything else to say to you. That's very fucking limited. If you think that, like, criticizing CIG at this point in development is going to just ruin Star Citizen and like it's never going to happen and it's just people are shitting on your dream by doing it, then you have your own problems to deal with. Yeah, absolutely, Cody, right? I've seen a lot of people with some very impressive rigs and they still have issues with it, right? Alright, let's go ahead and F4 this shit. We'll come back. I'll hope to God spawn in Levski, and we can come back here for ship prices. Yeah, straightforward. I agree, right? Like a lot of people, they do like literally have like a personal meltdown if somebody says anything bad about CIG or Star Citizen. And I don't see the two as like exclusive, right? Like you should be able to like Star Citizen and believe in the dream or whatever and still criticize the company or like design choices or whatever the case may be, right? That's absolutely something that you should be able to do. If you can't do that, then you have some kind of like block that's like you need to remove that. You should be able to do that. And I don't know if it's like I don't want to blame like sunk cost fallacy or whatever because like, you know, there are people who only have $45 into the game and there's still that level of like don't criticize Star Citizen. And maybe it's just like, hey, I get like if, you know, the dream and scope that Chris is selling people is their dream game, that's fine. And you can be excited for that and want that, but still call CIG out on like bullshit that they do. And still say like, hey, you guys are prioritizing shit like FOIP and VoIP when like we don't have like half of the fucking gameplay mechanics in. Like, and like there's no way you're going to tell me like, oh, hey, that didn't cost them any time to implement. Even with another company working on it, like that still takes time to put into the game. I think it is a fair assessment to call Star Citizen a scam under the pretext that Star Citizen is not what is being sold to people right now. It won't be that. I'm not talking like, hey, this is an alpha. Obviously, it doesn't represent the end game. I mean that what Star Citizen is going to end up being is not what you are being sold. So in that context, yes, I think Star Citizen is a scam. Do I think Star Citizen is a scam as in Chris Roberts is just banking all the money and never going to release a game? No, I don't think it's a scam that way. I think when this game comes out, there are going to be a lot of very angry people. Like how many people, raise your hand, bought into Squadron 42 because there was drop-in, drop-out co-op? Have you heard anything about drop-in, drop-out co-op? No? Even though like all indications are Squadron 42 Episode 1 is finally about to drop finally in like a year, maybe a year and a half. Hey, raise your hand, PvE switch. If you bought into Star Citizen thinking, hey, you weren't going to have to PvE unless, you know, you decided, or PvP unless you wanted to. Like, there's so many different aspects of what Chris Roberts sold to people that are just fucking out the window gone. And he hasn't addressed any of that shit. And then you start getting into stuff like you go into concierge chat, right? And there are so many people with thousands and thousands of dollars in these ship fleets, right? And they have these dream scenarios where like they're commanding their entire fleet of multi-$1,000 fucking ships with like all their other buddies multi-$1,000 fleets, right? And these like grand EVE Online ship battles, right? Where like their whole fleets going at each other. That gameplay, that Star Citizen is never going to happen. You might see like a Javelin and some escort ships and stuff like that fighting another fighting a similar sized fleet, but you will never see those grand fucking like crazy org versus org battles that you get in EVE Online. That will never come to Star Citizen. I will fucking promise you that. So like, yes, in that scope, Star Citizen is a scam. But no, I don't think that Star Citizen is a scam in that like they're just never going to make a game. I think they're going to make a game, but it's not going to be what people were sold. And there are going to be a lot of very fucking angry, very passionate people who suddenly are going to go from being like all up on Chris Roberts' dick to like probably, you know, the exact opposite of that. I don't want to like start saying super dark shit. Solving everything. So like you're never gonna see Eve style battles because one, like even Eve with like, you know, just these ship models, no interiors, none of that shit, right? Just fucking basically ship models. You know, you don't have like characters moving around inside of these ships. They don't have interiors. They don't have like system interiors as well, right? Like there's no piping and electrical and all these other subsystems that Chris wants to actually be in the model so that they can be realistically damaged and all this other shit, right? They're just meshes, right? They're model meshes. So like you have that and like you start getting into 1,000 people and EVE Online has to start dilating time and like doing all this fucking crazy server backend shit in order to instance these battles to make them possible. Then you get over to Star Citizen where like you have these giant ships with these complex interiors that can have items inside of these complex interiors, have multiple people doing all these other things, shooting all these other weapons, all this other shit, right? No game is going to be able to load that many people and still have it be like an FPS, right? Like Eve can dilate down because it's like basically a spreadsheet shooter in space type thing, right? You're never going to have massive fleet battles in Star Citizen. It's just never going to happen, right? By the time it does, I'll be dead. So it doesn't fucking matter. If Star Citizen were to ever get along that far, then I'll be dead, so I won't have to worry about being held accountable for it. I think server meshing will help, but like, all right, so let's go back to fucking CitizenCon 2018's closing argument or closing notes, right? Chris is up on stage and he's talking about server meshing being like the last great hurdle for Star Citizen. You'll notice that he talks about, oh yeah, we could see like 1,000 or thousands people on Hurston or whatever planet he said, right? But he says, you know, maybe a couple hundred people in an instance. You're never going to see thousands of people. So like all these orgs that are like 10,000 people looking at you test, you're never going to be able to play together all at once, right? Like you're not going to be able to blot out the sun like they keep fucking thinking they're going to. They'll fucking be struggling for the rest of this fucking game's life to get into the same instance together. You're never going to have that many player people, like characters in one instance on Star Citizen. It's just never going to fucking happen. Yeah, absolutely, Arget, right? Like that's the kind of shit that like I try to like point out to people, right? Like you look at old school fucking Chris Roberts like backing people, pledging and all this other shit. And like, you know, they're like asking questions 10 for the chairman or on any of the other fucking like mini shows that they used to have back then. Chris is never saying, no, I'm not going to do that. No, I'm not going to have that game. That game isn't coming. It was always lots of yes. I think I'm froze. I think at this point it's way too late for them to switch engines. They're locked in for better or worse, right? Like there's nothing they can do from here. Yep, take care, Jeremy. Thanks for hanging out, man. Uh, so my robot dick is a smoke. I don't know, smock, mag with a Prince 12. What do you call it? Tank on it. Nothing crazy. I used to do dripping, but it got like super frustrating to have to keep like managing that while playing games. So tanks are where it's at for me. Stop trying to peer pressure me, move speed. I don't think it'll happen, Deadbeat. I think they're locked into Lumberyard. I think the amount of people who would literally lose their shit if Star Citizen were to start all over again, like to port over to a new engine, I think it would be the death of the game. Or the project or whatever. Decline. My bad, guys. If you have a question about like ship purchases and stuff, and I don't see it, just feel free to repeat it. Right? I'm trying to like glance over as much as possible while getting this thing back and running again. Mats, what I'm most looking forward to with 3.3.5 is the introduction of Hurston and the truck stops, and I hope fucking the same like supposed NPC like ships flying around and like a more animated universe, right? Like Chris was talking about how like there should be ships coming in and out of like Lorville, right? That would be really cool to finally fucking see, because like right now Star Citizen just feels like a really dead, empty sandbox. Man. I fucking hope, right? I hope that Squadron 42 is in a state where like the next year and a half, right? One, they're updating like the release date on IMDb for a lot of these main like big name actors out there, to say 2019. Obviously, I would not hold my breath, but I could see Squadron 42 coming the very end of 2019, possibly. Let's see. I think like they wouldn't have gone back and redone everybody's model yet again if they weren't like getting close to pushing out episode 1 for Squadron 42. Let's see. So yeah, like I could see it coming, Squadron 42 being like very end of 2019 or early 2020, episode 1. No way. Peyton, I don't think so, right? Unless they fucking push 3.4 way back. Yay, Olisar again. Not Levski. God damn it. More of that Star Citizen persistence here. We're all about persistence. Yeah, Squadron 42 is going to be structured in an episode format, right? It won't all be at once.
Your ship has been delivered to the following landing pad.
Tom, please feel free to elaborate how it's improved loads since 2.6. I would love to hear that. I mean, even with server meshing, right? Like your best case scenario, you're going to see a couple hundred people in one instance. They're going to chop up the instances, right? So like, yeah, you could go to Port Olisar, but like there's going to be like 20 instances of Port Olisar. The difference will be I'm at Port Olisar, right? And then I leave Port Olisar and start heading to Daymar, right? As I move out of Port Olisar, I could match up with somebody else who was on like instance 21 of Port Olisar, because we're both leaving for Daymar at the same time. right? That's the difference that you're going to get with server meshing. It's not going to be like, oh, hey, suddenly Star Citizen can handle 20,000 people. Can I see the difference between 2.6 and 3.3? Yes, we have a new flight model that they're scrapping again. They've added planetary landing on giant empty balls, right? Like there's nothing on those planets except for more fetch quests and stuff like that. So like what, like, you know, I see these people talk about, oh, well, don't add space legs to fucking Elite Dangerous because it doesn't mean anything. There's no point. You're just walking around for no reason. How is Star Citizen different, right? Like I can get out on the planet and run around, but like there's nothing on it. It's just as procedurally generated empty as Elite Dangerous is procedurally generated planets, and Elite has like fucking 5 billion of them versus Star Citizen's like 4. So like, how has that been a great, huge improvement, right? Like, if you want to be fucking fair, then let's be fucking fair.
Landing gear raised.
If you want to talk about mining, okay, yeah, we have first iteration of mining. So I guess that's cool. That's great. That's one gameplay mechanic outside of combat after how long? Like, it's fine if you want to be like, oh, hey, Failure's a hater, and like have legit reasons to fucking call me a hater, but like, yeah, I'm sorry that I criticize CIG for the progress that they've made. Oh yeah, yeah, FPS AI. They have some FPS AI that like stand there and either insta-gib you or stand there like clumsy idiots over at Security Post Korea. They did that. Remember how Sandy was like so proud talking about FPS AI when it was just literally putting some in at fucking SPK? Whoa. Star Citizen will never be the same. I don't fucking only hate. I mean, I'm more than willing to fucking applaud them when they do good things. I've been fucking fighting with the very same people that like usually watch my content saying, hey, 3.3's OCS was a big improvement. And they're like, oh, well, it's not fucking going to change anything. And I've said, it might. We'll see when fucking Hurston comes. It could be the fucking first step towards actually having playable frame rate. I fucking fought for CIG when I owe them fucking nothing. So, like, pull the fucking dick out of your ass, Tom. Like, I'm more than happy to fucking applaud CIG when they do shit that is an improvement, when they do something good. The difference is I don't fucking, like, bend over and ask Chris to insert me every single time they do anything. I'm sorry that I have a standard and a level that I ask them to fucking, like, meet for me to give them praise. Hey, Nami, you know I was wave 2 on the Kraken sale, right? So, I don't know why I would hate somebody for the Kraken. I hope that, like, you're joking. But, you know, I can't ever, like, assume anymore when people are trolling versus, like, being legit serious, because the fucking people who, like, try to troll sound exactly like the people who are, like, trying to defend Chris. Yeah, I agree, Night Train. The Kraken was 1400 war bond or 1650 with RSI credit. That's just categorically wrong, Tom. You're saying that like people who don't have a good PC are fucking just, those are the people that have problems with the game. When there are people who have very good fucking PCs and still have problems with the game. There are fucking streamers that CIG has sponsored and given them a computer and they have problem with the game. Like, shut the fuck up. You're literally just talking out of your fucking ass, dude. Like, you're you're accusing me of just hating blindly when like you're literally fucking just sucking that dick. Sucking it hard, man. You're like, how much more can I fit in my mouth right now? Blindly. Completely ignorant of fucking facts. Like, it's fine if you want to fucking, like, be a fan of the game. Be a fan of the fucking game. But, like, the shit you're saying is just literally make-believe, made-up shit. I mean, I don't have a problem, like, not hating on it, though, either, Alexander, right? Like, I'm, like, man. Like, before 3.3 dropped, right, to PTU, I made it very, very fucking clear that I would gladly fucking, like, just fucking give CIG all the props if it was fucking well done, right? And I feel like, outside of crashing and shit like that, they have made improvements. So, like, for, you know, the most part, I feel like I've been very fair with CIG on 3.3. Like, I've given them credit where it's fucking due. Whereas, like, you know, you take fucking... I don't even care, fuck it. Where you take people who are, like, usually just fucking blindly fucking stroking Chris, right? And, like, they don't do that. They don't give that fair fucking treatment to CIG, right? Like, where they're normally fucking just always fucking praising CIG no matter what they do and how little or insignificant, like, the action might be. They fucking just give it nonstop praise, right? Like, I don't have a problem giving CIG credit when they do something good. And I'm sorry if, like, I have a standard above, like, what most people are expecting out of that. But, I mean, I don't know. So, like, right now I'm doing mouse and keyboard. If Star Citizen's flight model goes back to, like, enjoyable with 3.4, which is when the new flight model comes online, I will be going back to left stick, right mouse. I really, really enjoy flying that way. I got into left stick, right mouse because you get the same, like, gimbal accuracy using a mouse as you would, like, keyboard and mouse, but you kind of get, like, a more natural, like, flight feel with the left-handed stick. And you can also get more, like, refined movements with a stick versus, like, analog on a keyboard, right? So that's why I do left stick, right mouse. And that's my preferred method. It's a lot of fun. It was really disorientating. It took me a long time to muscle memory back into it. So, like, heads up to anybody who wants to try it. God damn it, that's the wrong one. But I think it's absolutely worth it if you can get used to it. Alright, we made it back. Alright, for anybody who is recently joining us and you have questions about ship purchasing in game, feel free to start asking them as soon as the elevator doesn't kill me and we make it to the shop. I can see you, Loki. My bad. There's a lot of YouTube comments, so like sometimes if Twitch is slow, it just gets blurted out super fast and I don't see it. For left-handed stick, I use the Thrustmaster 16K. The reason being is it's an ambidextrous stick, so you can literally change it to be right or left-handed depending how you want to use it, right? I also tried that first because I was like, well, if I don't like this and I do want to get dual sticks, it will be really easy to get a fucking right-hand stick also, and then I'll have a pair. Don't fucking bother. CS. Ship combat is pretty much like garbage. Like, there's no point in getting in and learning it right now because everything is going to be wiped off with the new flight model in 3.4. So if you can get in and start dicking with it if you want, but like you're literally going to be relearning something that's going to be irrelevant here in like who knows when, but near future. Replace. Yeah, the mechanics are still pretty shit. Aiming has gotten better because they upped ESP to the like retarded values, right? So like, man, it'd be nice if I had somebody to demo this with. So like, if I was in this Buccaneer, right, and like I'm looking at, you know, straight out ahead of me to like that pipe, right? If I lock on to somebody that's over here on this other pipe, ESP is going to automatically turn me and orientate me to fucking target that pipe. That's how fucking like cranked up ESP is right now. It's fucking batshit. So like a lot of people are like, oh my god, combat feels so good in Star Citizen now. I'm like killing stuff and I have no problems, you know, fighting now. It's amazing. It's like, yeah, because the game is basically fucking fighting for you right now. Okay, so again, let's do the prices. So the Drake Buccaneer, whoa, at 1.1. Somebody turn the fucking lights on. Buccaneer at 1.1 million. God, I'm fucking blind. The Anvil Hornet is at 1.49 million. The Prospector was 1.67, I believe. Let's see. 1.62. The Cutlass Black at 1.5. The Auroras, the LX starting at 220K. The CL at 496K. Oh, did I miss one? I did, didn't I? LX 220. And the LN at 367. Alright, I'm gonna try and fucking catch up on chat really quick while I tab over. So like the ship pricing is something that like, again, I said I didn't really want to comment on because it is the first iteration of in-game ship purchases, right? We don't know where it'll go from here. Prices could go up or they could come down drastically. Either way. The other issue is that this is on PTU. So if I were to start saying, oh, hey, this is fucking, you know, this is bad because of this or this is bad because of that, then people would say, oh, failure, it's PTU. What did you expect? So I'm not even going to bother like getting into the prices and all that shit. I do think that it is interesting because I don't know if ships will go to hangar or not. We can find out all of that here shortly. I'm also going to find out if the ship getting blown up makes it come back or not. We'll see about all of that here shortly. But yeah, like it's just too early to like talk shit on in-game purchase prices and all that shit, right? 2 customs. Got to put on the peasant flexor. Oh, nice. All right. I bet you the wait to get out of here is going to be insane. All right, freelancer, prospector.
All of our landing areas are currently full.
No kidding.
For assignment.
Unfortunately, our automated system is unable to access that ship.
It would be nice if like the positioning cues were actually accurate.
Please try again later, or select a different ship.
All right, your ship's all ready for you.
Hangar 2! Alright, let's do it. Why aren't I using FOIP? I just don't see a point in using it. Tom, how is it crazy, negative, inaccurate bullshit? I see like a lot of people say, oh, failure, you're just like being negative and spreading misinformation and all this shit is fucking wrong. But like they always come into the comments and just talk shit about me and they never fucking disprove anything that I say. And they supposedly fixed the hangars, so hopefully we can get out. Hey, dude, please move. I mean, if that's your opinion, Tom, that's fine, but it's wrong. Yeah, I've been told I don't understand the tech a lot and that I'm not a game developer. So I had somebody tell me I didn't know what I was talking about when I made the OCS video, even though they were wrong. And I literally used materials directly from CIG to do the OCS stuff. Blippity, I love the new reworked Mustangs. I know a lot of people are going to fucking be super salty to hear me say that because a lot of people like the old one, but I fucking love it. I think they look really cool. Oop. Oh, right, flight ready, flight ready, flight ready. Where was it? There we go. That's the one I wanted. Let me out. Yeah, I agree, Mike. It's sad, like, that some of the interiors got what I would call lessered. They aren't quite as cool, but you know, it is what it is. I still think that like visually they look a lot cooler. Mmm, delicious frames. Get the fuck away from Levski and never come back. Oh, I'm sorry, Blippity. I really like the Omega. If I could have gotten the Omega with LTI, I would own one. I think it's really fucking cool looking. I like the airplane wheels. I like the wheels. My issue with it is that the wheels don't function, right? So like you land and then like it's like, "Oh, you're landed. You can't fucking taxi. There's no taxiing allowed." I hate that about the Mustang, about the 300, any of the ships that have wheels. It's so irritating to me that they don't work. I'm really excited to see the new flight model. No point asking. Especially atmospheric flight. God damn it! I keep forgetting that I have strafe instead of that bound. I'm really happy that they're doing atmospheric flight with like lift and drag and like hopefully an actual atmospheric flight model instead of just like Planet Side 2 endlessly like hover, like just floating in space but not in space. I don't know. As far as like the speeds and everything goes, I'm not a combat authority at all. So like I think it would be really stupid of me to try to accurately represent like combat flight model shit. There are way more qualified people than me to talk on that. Like I've been out of Star Citizen combat since like I don't know, one of the early 2.0s. So like I really shouldn't weigh in on that. Oh, that's a fucking huge letdown then, blippity blop. Yeah, like that. It was so standout, the old one, and that's why like I really really wanted it, but I fucking just couldn't handle it having 48-month insurance. Yeah, OCS is not like something that CIG invented, right, guys? Just to be clear on that, and like, you know, you can find a clip of fucking Lando even saying as much, right? Like, they didn't invent OCS. It's just a basic like memory prioritization and like dumping system. Hey, I appreciate it, Daryl. So like I've been trying to like calm myself and like keep myself a little bit more collected than I normally would, so that I can integrate into the Star Citizen community and actually try to have conversations again. In some cases, I have been met with success in that, and I've had interesting conversations both with CIG employees and with other backers. And in other cases, I get people like Tom who just want to constantly say, "You just fucking hate Star Citizen and you're a piece of shit, negative person." And like they won't have a conversation or like actually talk or argue a point. Like they just want to say, "Everything is great and you're a fucking shitlord, goon." And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, I tried. That's as much as I can do. So like, you know, it's hit or miss, right? My opinion on the game right now, Ethan, would still be kind of basically the same that it used to be. If you've bought in, I wouldn't suggest giving CIG more money at the moment. If you have not bought in, I would suggest waiting about a year and a half. I think in that time frame, CIG should have like no more excuses in terms of like random bullshit. So at that point, you should be able to like judge them based on what's actually there. And at that time, if the game is still running like dog shit a year from now, and still like they're using all these other excuses like alpha, we're working on the tech and all this other shit, then just fucking pass and don't look back. But as far as like, if there's a specific area you're curious about, Ethan, feel free to ask. But like, in terms of like performance, it's still kind of fucking all over the place. Right now, like, frame rate went up a lot with 3.3 and the introduction of client-side OCS. However, not a whole lot was really added to test OCS, if that makes sense. And then furthermore, like, crashing is back with a vengeance. Like, it's really bad in 3.3. And especially bad, like, if you're trying to play with a group of people, it's super frustrating because odds are, like, one of you is going to just constantly keep crashing out, right? So it makes, like, playing with friends impossible. Crashing, understandably, will eventually get fixed. Performance could stay improved and even get better from here. Who knows? My only thing is, like, I keep trying to tell people, like, don't get fucking super carried away with the performance just yet. Because, like, right now there's just not a lot in game to fucking, like, really test it. I should have paid attention on where ArcCorp was. But I didn't. I really wish that they would improve the UI so that you could, like, accurately fucking see certain waypoints and shit like that. Like, I shouldn't have to turn on fucking quantum travel in order to get the fucking names of shit that I'm trying to fly towards. Like, just like a button to just, like, push a button and put a marker or something like that, right? And it stays where I'm fucking heading or where I'm, like, want to head. Shit like that would be super nice. Yeah, Mike Peterson, I agree, right? Like, when it suits them, it's an alpha, and when it comes to, like, refunds and, like, other legal terms, it's a fucking released minimum viable product. And I think that's kind of super shitty. Have an MFT that actually shows target info? Yeah, I do. It's a caterpillar! Is he over ArcCorp? Yes, he is. Ah, I knew it would lead me home. Attaboy. Well done, sir. That looks like the ground kind of low. Damn, I came down like way out of range. Holy shit. The light toggle default is number 5. I'm trying to remember what mining mode is. Default. It's M, of course. Oh shit, is that the caterpillar? So it's definitely not me. Oh, it's another prospector. I kind of want him to get closer because I was planning on killing myself just to see if the insurance like covered this stuff or if you lost it, that was it. Power to the laser. Oh shit, you can move it around now. That's really cool. Ah! Oh. Explode! Come on, do it! Alright, we're gonna make it. Alright, I can reach out while we wait for this to blow up. I'm gonna wait for Squadron 42 next year, supposedly. Yeah, I think that's a good idea, right? Like, there shouldn't be any hurry. We should probably get closer if we want it to blow us up. Aw, that was it? It was weak. I was expecting like some actual death. Oh no. Rip. Did we just blow up a ton of fucking little fragments? Alright, I don't know. I can't see shit. Oh, somebody blew up. Witness! Womp womp. Crashed the desktop. Cool, it didn't matter. Ship bind did get added, Volcom. The ships that you can buy are the Prospector, the Hornet, the Buccaneer, 3 Aurora variants, 2 Dragonflies, and the Cutlass? I think that's all of them. Prices for the Hornet and the Buccaneer are roughly 1 million. Price for the Prospector is 1.6 million. Price for the Cutlass is 1.5, I believe. The Auroras range from 220k or 260k to 460k, roughly. Nunya, good night, man. Thank you so much for stopping by, man. Sorry, I'm sorry, chat. Like, I've been trying to like pay attention to like Star Citizen-y stuff. I've been doing a terrible job of like reading chat. Yeah, and Dragonflies are 75k. Thank you so much. So, yes, ship buying is in. I'm amazed. I didn't think CIG would do this anytime fucking soon, and it looks like they're going forward with it, which is pretty fucking great. I think that's a huge fucking PR step for them, right? One of the biggest things that people look at Star Citizen as is paywalled as fuck, and by doing this, they are getting a lot of credibility back. Even if they do end up kind of like pricing the in-game prices to be in a form that pushes players towards wanting to spend real money instead, like some free-to-play games do. Just the fact that it is an option is a huge new thing for them. Hey, Gas Tires, how's it going, man? Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you, Blippity, right? Like, I don't think that CIG wants to get rid of the gray market because the gray market buys a lot of fucking shit. And a lot of people seem to not realize that or don't think about it, right? When they're like, oh, CIG should just get rid of the gray market. And they don't consider the fact that, like, you know, a lot of people from the gray market spend a lot of fucking money on the game development, right? Flaw! I didn't say I hate Star Citizen. I said I hate CIG. I've rehashed this about 1,000,000 times, so I apologize for anybody who has to hear this again. I don't hate Star Citizen. I don't want Star Citizen to die. I hate CIG. I don't approve of majority, almost all of their marketing tactics. You know, on and so forth, right? I don't play the game, right? Like, if you were to be in my Discord and watch, you know, I have my fucking gameplay turned on, or like it says what game I'm playing. The only time you're going to see me playing Star Citizen is when I'm recording for stuff. In this particular instance, I am on because they enabled ship sales and I wanted to check it out firsthand instead of getting information from others that could be accurate or not. I mean, I have an account. I'm always in the PTU wave invite, so why wouldn't I jump on and just say? Buying ships is at Levski. There is a new fucking little like hangar that you can get to from an elevator called Teach's Shop. And that's where you're going to find everything. So again, Levski on Daymar. I agree with you, Mike. You know, that's kind of why I said, like, it's really early days and I don't want to fucking comment on the in-game prices just yet. But that's something that I've been suspicious of, right? Like, they could add it for the PR boon of saying, hey, we have it in game. But, like, if it's still super unrealistic for anybody to get, especially when you consider that each PTU patch can wipe your fucking data, right? Like, then it doesn't matter at that point, right? So, like, you know, I suspect that the excuse you'll see out of CIG if the price is super unreasonable for, like, you know, a lot of the more desirable ships is going to be, well, this is just our first iteration. We're making sure the tech works. You know, we're not expecting people to actually, like, you know, use this to get ships and, like, use them, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, for sure, Rembrandt. That'll be something to do. We can go scoot over to one of the rest stops. Ethan, my opinion on the trailer for Squadron 42 is just remember that CIG is like, oh god, they are like a maestro of like the top tier fucking orchestra when it comes to creating trailers that don't accurately represent the state of their games at all. So Squadron 42 trailer looks like the game is just in an amazing place, right? But the gameplay of Squadron 42, I guarantee, does not look like that right now at all. I'm gonna be right back while this loads, guys. All right. I see this one is infinitely looping. Let's close this all the way out. All the way out. CIG. Hmm. I agree, Tom. I'm fine with people paying that much money to fund the game. Obviously, I was fine with it. I was a whale. I don't mind the pay to win shit. You know, whatever. The game's got to get funded somehow, right? My issue is with people who want to insist that it's not pay to win in any form. Like, you know, I was a whale and I was fine saying it was pay to win, right? Like, I knew what I was doing. I knew what I was funding. I understood that there were people who were going to spend way more fucking money than me and have more of an advantage over me than I had over people who were under my pledge value, right? Dallin, I'm using this local shop liquid. But so like it's nothing like crazy special. I try to use like brick and mortar shops whenever I can, because like I like rewarding companies that are like, you know, local and like take care of their customers and shit like that, right? And usually I hate brick and mortar vape shops because they fucking rob you blind, fucking take advantage of you, whatever, right? And I just happened to find this one shop that's like literally right next to the gym my girlfriend and I use, and their prices were like the same as what I could get coils from like online, and then their juices were like reasonably priced, and I was like, fuck dude, all right, you got my business, man. That's awesome, thank you. I totally agree with you, Repool. I don't understand the people who want to defend that it's not pay to win, right? Because like it's always like they create this fucking this scenario. Like they try to fucking um I don't know. They try to like dance around the fact that like there's absolutely ways to buy advantages in basically every profession in Star Citizen, but it's not winning because insert this other thing and insert this other excuse, and well, if I'm having fun, then you know there's no pay to win or something like that, right? Like there's always some kind of like catch fucking 22 that like absolves them of any kind of pay to win advantage. I mean, win what? Like, how did, I mean, it's pay to win because you can get an advantage over somebody else who doesn't spend money, right? If I run into failure to report who doesn't spend any money and I'm failure to report who spent 10K, I'm going to thrash him in both trading and combat and fucking every fucking profession in Star Citizen. I'm going to do better than him. I'm paying to win. If you think there's nothing to win, like, you're still paying for an advantage over other people in a game that is going to be heavily PvP. Anybody who's still under the illusion that Star Citizen isn't going to be heavy with PvP, you're crazy. What are people going to win by buying ships? You're winning at fucking combat. You're winning at the ability to generate more revenue more efficiently and faster. You're winning in just about every possible way, right? Like, the idea that there's no competition is insane. If I can fucking fly up to you in my fucking brand new fucking Eclipse and just one-shot nuke you with a torpedo and not give a fuck about the cost of the torpedo, because I can also inject more money into the game through UEC purchases, guess what? I just won. I just invalidated your entire fucking hours that you spent grinding in your little fucking trading ship. But you're having fun, right? So I'm not paying to win. It's always going to be heavy PvP. It's always going to be heavy PvP. Anybody who is like deluding themselves into thinking that Star Citizen is not going to be heavy PvP, you really need to fucking like reality check yourself now. Do it now before it's fucking too late. Because it is absolutely, absolutely going to be heavy PvP. How do I know it will be heavy PvP? Because you're in a game where killing other people is going to fucking be rewarding, for one. How many of the mechanics that CIG talks about at SitCon and ATV, etc., are PvP mechanics? Bounty hunting, fucking locking players up, how fucking players locked in prison is going to work, how all of this other shit is going to work. They're always talking about PvP mechanics in all of their fucking shows. It will absolutely be heavy PvP. Yeah, I see the 90% of the population is NPC shit a lot too. That really doesn't fucking matter, right? Like, CIG goes on and on about how there's supposedly 2 million backers currently, or over 2 million backers currently. Look at No Man's Sky. That game had easily at least probably 1 million people buying it at launch day. How fast did people fucking manage in a procedurally generated fucking universe? Not a couple systems, in a procedurally generated universe. How fast did people find a way onto the same fucking planets? But you're going to tell me, oh, well, it's a 9-to-1 ratio of NPCs to players, so you're never going to see anybody. You can go in Elite Dangerous and run into people, and those are fucking literally hundreds of thousands of millions of fucking, like, systems. Solar systems. Star Citizen at release is going to have 100 systems at best. At fucking best. I doubt it, but let's say that they do it. At release, they have 100 solar systems. They all have jump points that are choke points. They all have inter-system choke points. They all have points of interest. They all have missions that are going to basically be funneling you to a certain area. You are going to run into other players. People who still think that you're not going to run into other players are fucking selling themselves a daydream. That is absolutely going to fucking happen. So stop saying, oh, well, 9-to-1. It doesn't matter if there are 9 other fucking NPCs. That fucking doesn't matter. There's still that other fucking player out there in the instance with you, and they're still fucking able to kill you whenever they want. It doesn't matter if you have safe zones. Every fucking PvP game in the world has had safe zones, and short of them completely disabling you from being able to attack another player, ones that say, hey, this is a safe zone, there are guards, and there are systems and penalties and all this other shit, people still gank people in safe zones all the fucking time in every fucking PvP game enabled ever. Ever. So arguing, oh, well, there's going to be laws and there's going to be penalties. That shit doesn't matter. I sat in chat with Crakeland for like 30 minutes, fucking literally like giving him workarounds to every system that they fucking brought up in Crime and Punishment. There's going to be fucking having alt accounts. There's going to be using other people's assets with a fresh account so that your assets aren't lost, but that only like the fresh account gets the fucking reputation hit. Like all it on and on and on. People who think that they are safe right now from PvP are fucking, like, totally detached from reality. Oh, shit. Thank you. I did not see that. I wonder if it's not running because it's purchased through, what do you call it? That's weird. I'm not saying that it is perfect, Pine. What I'm saying is there's absolutely going to be PvP because the systems that are supposed to be stopping them are just a deterrent. It's not going to stop PvP. Just because you don't want a PvP doesn't mean you're not going to have it forced on you constantly. I completely agree with you, Mike. I feel bad for them, like legit. It's super shitty. And that's exactly like the same thing, right, Mike? Like he literally demoed it at SitCon 2018, right? Like they blew up that ship just cuz they didn't talk to him first. They weren't like, "Hey, are you after the blade? Want to work together and we could fucking go get that server blade together." They were just like, blow it up. We got a Cutlass. Fuck this Mustang. And then he talks about how other players could have the same mission as you. You're literally pushing people into these funnels. But there's still all these people who are like, oh, I'm not going to have to PvP if I don't want to. And it's just like you're deluding yourself. It's going to happen.
Your ship has been delivered to the following landing pad.
I'm absolutely not, Tom. People do it all the time in every fucking game out there. How many people get an account banned in a game where they have to buy the game, get banned for cheating, and then immediately go out and buy a whole nother game copy and then just go right back to cheating. People will fucking blow money on griefing others because it makes them feel fucking better. It's absolutely happening, and the more you try to tell yourself it's not going to, the more fucking stupid you're going to look when it actually happens. Yeah, that's what it looks like, Alex, which is super great since I crashed and fucking lost it because Star Citizen persistence. Yeah, it's just never going to happen, right? Like, you're going to be forced into PvP.
Welcome. Your journey begins now. All systems operational.
Alright, which one was in? It was L2, right? I think it was L2.
Launch complete.
Yeah, I think like a lot of people are under the impression that like trolls and griefers and everybody
Quantum travel engaged.
doesn't want Star Citizen to happen when realistically they absolutely do because Star Citizen will be a griefer's paradise. I'm not arguing whether or not you're ever going to stop griefing, Tom. My point is that you're absolutely going to have situations where PvP is constantly a threat. And so many people are like, oh, I'm not going to have to PvP. The universe is so big. And I'm also not going to have to PvP because the slider, because I'm still uninformed and don't know that the slider is gone. Oh, are you back to just trying to say that it's all about me and just talk shit about me, Tom? So you don't want to, like, present an actual argument because it's super easy to tick it apart? Or are you doing that again already? I see that lasted long. It was really fun having that constructive conversation with you.
Contact. Contact.
Alright. I don't know what else is going on there. That's cool. CRUL2. Do I have to request landing with you?
Please proceed to side landing bay.
I do. Alrighty.
Landing gear engaged.
Now are we back to not having like a clear marker on which landing pad is mine? Alright, there we go.
Proximity alert. Front.
Oh man, I kind of missed that, right? Like, wasn't the old Mustang, couldn't you like look under your feet?
Left. Landing complete.
I don't know. Maybe I'm imagining that.
Landing complete. Have a pleasant stay.
What the fuck? What the fuck? What the fuck? Like, what the fuck just happened there? Alright. I'm glad I was streaming when that happened. Normally when I tell people about shit like that, they don't believe me. Or they're like, oh, you just did some shit to make that happen. That was the new one for me. Tom, you're a fucking twat, dude. I'm sorry. That was fucking funny. I'm sorry I can't fucking laugh at something ridiculous like that without you fucking getting all butthurt because it doesn't shine on your fucking dream. What am I on? Pad 01. Alright. I'll make sure not to laugh, Tom. I don't want to laugh at the fucking NPCs teleporting around or else you'll get upset. Rest and relax and take in the view. That's the sound of the station shooting at what I'm pretty sure are AI pirates. I'm assuming they followed that caterpillar in because he's pretty fucked up. Straight to flyable, Ethan. I think that was really fucking cool. I like that they did that with the Valkyrie because there was no speculation on what the concept was going to be. It was all right there in front of you. You had the chance to buy it and see exactly what it was, right? You're not buying into the promise of a concept that could radically change by the time it's actually flyable. I thought that was really, really fucking cool. Hey buddy, can I sit with you? I can't turn my head to look at you. Thank you for leaning forward. What do you think of this? Wow. God, I can't even fucking... Even in the future, people just pull out their cell phones to ignore me. Man. What a life. Yeah, I agree, Tigray. I don't see Mobi-Glass ever getting like refined out to an appropriate UI, right? It's just so fucking like I pushed it once. I don't even know what would happen. What was Okay. Let me stand up before I use it. It's just super fucking clunky to work through, right? Like, I shouldn't have to fucking spend 20 minutes fucking clicking through shit for, like, simple things. Mobiglass might not have bothered me so much if I hadn't played Elite Dangerous after 3.0. So, like, now I have, like, this expectation for, like, a functioning, intuitive user interface. I don't think employees are allowed to do that, bro. Merchantman, I would love to see in game, Ethan. Man, I think Merchantman and the Carrack are both ships that we're not going to see for a good while yet. Yeah, he legit looked like he was stretching for a little bit. Now he's just like frog squatting in the air. It's those 2948 Jordans, yo. They'll literally levitate you. Would I do a debate stream with Montoya? Fuck no. That guy doesn't. It would be like trying to debate with Tom, right? Like, they don't rely on facts. They just like. They want to set a goalpost for you, and then, like, if you fucking circle back on them and their goalpost, like, doesn't play out how they want it to, they just shift it. They never argue in facts. They never fucking do any of that shit. It's just constantly, like, changing the fucking scenario up so they don't have to fucking be accountable at all. That's literally, like, the Montoya way. These rest stops are pretty cool, though. It'd be really interesting when you have, like, actual, like, NPCs and stuff flying in and out. If we ever get to that. I mean, you're totally capable of having an informal, non-debate chat with me about Star Citizen right now, Tom, but you can't do that. Every time you bring something up and I answer it, you resort back to calling me names. So how are we, like, gonna ever have a debate when you can't even have, like, a conversation? Do I still have a ship here? I do. Ish. I mean, like, the issue, like, that I have with, like, the whole, like, everybody keeps asking me to debate various people with Star Citizen's community, right? And I feel like the issue is none of them want to have a debate, right? It's the same thing with, like, trying to judge Star Citizen versus Elite Dangerous, right? These same people that, like, everybody wants me to debate are the same people who are like, oh, well, Star Citizen is better than Elite Dangerous because it has, like, bounty hunting, medical gameplay, all this other stuff, and it's like they want to compare what might one day happen versus what reality is now, right? Like, when I look at Star Citizen, I compare it and I weigh it based on what is actually real. Because CIG's kind of demonstrated that, like, you can't trust them with dates, you can't trust them with promises, you can't trust them with, like, a lot of other issues, right? So, like, I'm not going to take anything that they promise me is coming or they say is going to happen. I don't trust that shit anymore. So, like, I want to talk about Star Citizen currently. And the pro Star Citizen, like, content creators and all that shit, they don't want to talk about Star Citizen currently because it's almost always, you know, a fucking train wreck. So, like, I get that they don't want to talk about what we actually have and, you know, realistically fucking near patches and shit like that because they would have to be like, yeah, this kind of sucks dick. 3.3 is a mess. But they can't do that, right? Because, like, my income isn't tied to Star Citizen. If Star Citizen fucking flops tomorrow, it doesn't fucking mean shit for me. these people literally fucking rely on Star Citizen being good, because if their fucking community dries up, which it absolutely will if Star Citizen dries up, they're fucked, right? Like, it doesn't matter to me. Like, my channel fucking goes away tomorrow. Oh well. Tom, I've given you how many chances, right? Like, I've asked you, like, over and over again to, like, present arguments, and you can't do it. All you do is fucking make attacks against me. Like, normally, I would be calling you fucking names at this point because you're so fucking inept at making an argument that it's fucking embarrassing. But I've given you multiple chances to, like, bring up a topic. I give you my response, and you can't even fucking answer it, right? You fucking resort back to, oh, failure just wants to be negative. Failure just does this, whatever, whatever. That's all you've got. It doesn't matter, dude. Nobody's rushing you to respond. You can take fucking 30 minutes to type out your fucking response if that's what it takes you. At what point have I been like, Tom, you need to answer me right now. You have 15 seconds or I will ignore you. I've come back to you like fucking 18 times in this stream alone. And I've constantly given you a chance to say like your counter argument to any of the points that you pick and bring up and I answer. But it always comes down to you're just a fucking salty, you hate everything Star Citizen, blah, blah, blah. Like that's all you've got. Because that's all any of you anti-failure report people have, right? You can't fucking attack my arguments because my arguments are all based on CIG's behaviors, things they've done, things they've said, etc. I don't just make shit up for the fun of it. So, I get it. You can't fucking counter it. I'm sorry. It doesn't matter if you're in Discord or if you're typing. That's all you've got. I've like, how many YouTube comments where you guys do this shit? You want to come in and be like, oh man, failure report, you're just a fucking idiot. And I'm like, okay, I see how that's a counter to what I've said. Interesting. Dare to fucking continue? And like, none of you ever fucking have an argument that goes counter. It's always like, how can I insult failure? I don't mind chatting with you at all. I'm obviously not going to let some fucking rando on a fucking stream. You can absolutely stop by Discord whenever you want.
Your ship has been delivered to the following landing pad.
The constant laser fire is the station shooting endlessly at the pirates outside. I don't know why. Scrub all day. The lawsuit is going forward. It wasn't dismissed like so many people kept saying it was going to be. Shit. Was it in hangar 1 or pad 1? So yeah, CIG's motion to dismiss the Crytek lawsuit was denied. The judge did dismiss one portion of the Crytek lawsuit, but also said, hey, if you refile it under this wording, then it would be kosher. I'm sure there are people who want to see Star Citizen fail retro. Just like there are people who, no matter what CIG does, will say, this is amazing, it's the best shit ever. There are people like that on both sides. There's people like that on anything. There's people like that on pedophilia. There's people like that on fucking abortion. There are always people at extremes. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. That doesn't make it like any more valid. Oh, I can shoot here? But it cannot do damage. I'm confused. Like... Oh, half of it's gimbaled, half of it's fixed. I don't think you can damage them if you're inside of an armistice zone, which is why they're not dying from the station, right? Why, like, that Aurora pirate just kind of, like, casually drifted into my landing pad. I think that's a PTU thing, right? Where, like, they're giving, like, invulnerability while you're inside of an armistice, because, like, normally you could snipe into an armistice zone. So it's, like, blanket fucking nobody gets hurt. So, short of, like, getting that constellation to, like, chase me out, which I don't think I will be able to do, I won't be able to hit it. Yeah, absolutely, deadbeat, right? Like, I hate seeing that argument also, where people are like, oh, you're hating on Star Citizen, so you want it to fail. Like, I don't think I've ever met, like, outside of a couple of people I've seen on, like, the SA forums, I would say, like, almost all of the people that I talk to who, you know, are critical of Star Citizen, and even, like, people who have refunded or, like, walked away from the project, they still want it to succeed. They're just critical of it. Like, either they don't like the direction the game has gone, or whatever the case may be, right? Rabbit, that's an entirely inaccurate statement. There are plenty of people with, like, very high-end rigs who are getting shit frames per second. It really doesn't have anything to do with your... Cool, there's a crash to desktop. It doesn't have anything to do with your rig at all, unfortunately. I would love for that to be the case, because it means you could just throw money at your rig and then everything would be great. But, you know, that unfortunately isn't how things are. Yes, we are, Beat. Yes, we are. I mean, if you watch Board Gamer, that's fine, right? Board Gamer does do a good job of cutting up and, like, restructuring CIG's material. But just like my own channel, right? If you watch Board Gamer, you should absolutely go, like, fact check what he says, just as you should fact check what I say. I totally encourage and welcome people to do that. Just, you know, keep in mind, like, Board Gamer is as close to being, like, an unofficially paid CIG employee as, like, you can possibly get. So, like, fucking, you know, use your brain. Ah, these crashed desktops. Alright, guys. I am going to go ahead and shut down for now, since this is kind of just crashing every time I try to do anything. I'll probably be back later tonight, maybe. We'll see. I'd like to try to play some more. So if you do have access to 3.3 PTU, feel free to jump on the Discord and PM me your RSI. I'll try to add everybody that I can when I go to launch again next. We'll try to fuck around a little bit. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by. I appreciate it. I'm really glad that CIG did add chip purchases. You know, obviously the prices are they're not very friendly to a PTU atmosphere, or even the live PU, right? Where, like, we have fairly frequent wipes. But it is a huge step that they did it. And it was something that, you know, is surprising to me, because I didn't think they would do it anytime soon. So, full credit where it's due. I think this is a good thing for CIG to be doing. Obviously, the prices are pretty steep right now, especially compared to, like, earning. But it's you know, it's something that I didn't think they would ever do. So they do deserve, you know, credit on that. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see where it goes. It'll be interesting to see the bigger ships added as purchasable as well once Hurston comes online. I'm actually kind of like starting to get to a point where I'm curious, like if they're going to even do a 3.3.5 or if they're just going to push straight to 3.4. Especially like after adding in this kind of like mini ship purchasing stuff, it almost feels like it would be more worthwhile for them to just focus straight to 3.4. Like, why do a 3.3.5 just cause? But I guess we'll see. Again, thank you everybody for tuning in. Actually, let's see here if I can fucking pull it up or not. Of course I can't. The agent, thank you so much for the 100 bits. God damn, it's only giving me half the fucking notifications. To everybody who's super chatted on YouTube, thank you so much. I will give you a shout out next time around. I don't know why the fuck I've been having issues with getting notifications on OBS client. It just fucking hates me now. But again, thank you everybody for tuning in. I always enjoy talking about Star Citizen, and I'm trying to do it in a more level-headed manner where I don't flip out on people who say shit I don't agree with. So thank you for being patient with me if you're one of those big Star Citizen fans. I'm trying to be more balanced. And obviously that's something that's very hard for me, but we'll get there. Alright guys, I'm out. Cheers.